Financially raw, real, authentic wisdom with Lourens from Retire Rich and Happy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Financially Raw. This Thursday at 10 o'clock, the 18th of May. And today we've got a very exciting show that I'm looking forward to sharing with you. We've got in studio this morning with us Suze Bouwer. Susie, Suzette, you must just say what you prefer, Suze. I call her Suze Bouwer from Redmatchstick Marketing, and we're going to talk a little bit about marketing and the myths, and you'll tell us now about that. So welcome, Suze, welcome in the studio, and tell us a little bit about yourself and what we're going to talk about today.
Thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here. So first of all, the name is Suzette, but like one of the first things I tell people when they set themselves up on digital marketing is make sure your name is unique. Because when people simply search for your name and they can't find you, or there are 10 others with the same name, you make it very hard for people to reach out. So many of you will know Suze Bouwer, the financial guru. She's the only other Suze I know, spelt Suze. It makes sense with my name Suzette. And I created Suze Bouwer as my professional name, and if you search it, there's only me. So that's the reason for the name. And my business is called Redmatchstick. It comes from many years of working mainstream corporate marketing. I then just found out that I know a lot and people ask me a lot, and I like sharing what I know and what I've experienced. So I set up this business as a marketing coaching business to share knowledge, to empower people, to help businesses grow. So I'm not an agency. I call myself a marketing enabler. My particular skill is finding areas that are holding you back. Hence today's talk, marketing myths and challenges. There are things that hold you back that are simply old-fashioned ideas, or things that you should just put your big girl panties on and address and deal with them and move on and grow your business.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, we can't wait. I've got a few things that you told me that we're going to talk about, and they are all brilliant. And I can't wait to share it with people. So if you have your own business, and if you are battling to get those leads in, get your message out there, you don't want to miss today's show. So as per usual, we'll have some music for those of you listening on Berg Studio. And those of you that are on our social media channels, you know by now that unfortunately we can't share the music with you. We'll tell you what songs we are playing because Suze has a little bit of a message behind each of those songs that she'll share. But for you guys, we will have a video of one of our previous shows, and the video we're going to talk about today is the systems that you need to move your business from being a transactional business to being a transformational business. And what transformational means is a business that you can work on, not in the business. So what are those tools and those systems that you need? So before we start with our show, let's go for a short music break. And the song that we're going to start off with is Katy Perry and Raw. It's not financially raw, it's raw like a what? A tiger roars. A lion roars. Okay, so Suze tells us a little bit about, or tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are behind that song.
I think one of the big challenges with marketing in this era when everybody's online and there's so much noise is how do you stand out? And the first part of standing out is stepping into your authenticity and what you stand for. And then step out and roar. Make people aware of who you are and be proud of it. You will attract the right people and repel the wrong people. And that's okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Let's go and have a listen to Katy Perry and Raw. Those of you listening or watching on our social media, let's go to that video on systems. You want to get to a point in your business where if somebody leaves or something happens, another person can step in and within a half an hour figure out exactly what needs to be done. That is duplicatable. Okay, so what is the first system that you need to look at? The first system, and this is the lifeblood of all businesses, is the lead generation system. Guys, if you don't have a proper system that generates potential new leads or leads for potential new clients, your business will not grow. You can't just sit back and say, well, I get enough word of mouth referrals to keep myself going. You'll never grow to a large business if you have that attitude. You have to create systems that generate leads on an ongoing basis. You have to be proactive with your lead generation system. Don't just sit back and wait for people to ask for quotes, send out quotes and hope for the best. That is not the way that you build your business. So what's very important when you start looking at your lead generation system is that you are clear on your unique selling proposition or unique benefit proposition that you have for your client. That is so important to understand. What differentiates you from the company next door, the other companies that do what you do. And we very, very seldom have a business that has no competitors whatsoever. You usually go into a market where there are other competitors that do something similar to you. They might not do exactly the same thing, but they're in a similar industry. So you need to be able to differentiate yourself, because if you are not clear on what differentiates you from your competitors, how on earth will your clients or your potential customers be able to differentiate you? And if they have nothing to differentiate you from everybody else, what are they going to use as a differentiation? Price. And the moment you get into that situation where price is the only thing that you can compete at, you then part of a lottery, because you'll win some, you'll lose some, because you don't know what other people are pricing. So you want to get away from just competing on price in your business. You want to create a unique selling proposition and be very clear on how that differentiates you from the rest of the competitors. And guys, please, things like we are always honest is not a unique selling proposition. There's no way the client can gauge whether that is true or not when he makes his selling decision. So you have to be clear. We do things this way, which benefits you in that way, and therefore we are different than everybody else. You need to be clear on that. Sit down when you start your business and take as much time as you need to create a proper, unique selling proposition, to make sure that you know how you are different so that you can tell your clients or give that message through to your clients. And only once you do that, you create a lead generation system. So what you want to do with your lead generation system as well is you need to specifically go and see who your target market is. You need to understand who the market is that you are catering to. A mistake that most people do when they start a small business is they are so desperate to get clients that they will accept anybody. So if you ask a person who's your client, they will go anybody. If people say I will make it work, and that is exactly the opposite of what you actually should be doing when you start your business. For those of you on YouTube, you'll see what I do. I'm going to try and explain it for the people who are just listening. But what most people do is they have this view of their market. They will accept everybody. And as they get more and more successful, they want to tighten that view of theirs to only a small niche in the market. So eventually, I just want to work with high net worth individuals. Or eventually, I just want to work with... Welcome back. And that was Katy Perry with Raw, a song from Suze. And as per usual, the guest gets to decide the music that we listen. So if you loved it, you have to thank Suze. If you didn't, you have to blame Suze. So that's just how it works. Don't blame me. Anyway, so we're going to talk about some of the marketing myths out there, what people tell themselves, and Suze are going to tell us that we have the wrong facts. So let's start with the first one, and that one is everyone is my customer. And yeah, this is something I talk about with businesses, small businesses. businesses as well. So tell us a little bit about why that is a myth and how you address that.
Let's kick off by maybe making you sit up and pay attention. When you talk to everybody, you get heard by nobody. I hope that kind of hits home, because everybody is different, tastes are different, desires are different, needs are different, challenges are different, daily life is different. And until you tune into where your ideal customer, the person you are talking to with the solution you are offering or the message you are offering, till you tune into where they are listening, how they are listening. You know, data, for example, in this country, if people are not streaming on data and you are sharing a really great value-driven video, they're not going to see it or hear it. So until you actually analyze who your customer is, you cannot be putting the right message in front of the right person, in the right place, at the right time.
Yeah, and that's so true, and not just from a marketing perspective, but from a business perspective as well. I talk to a lot of small business owners, and I say, you know, we have this attitude when we start our business, when you ask people, who's your client? They say, everybody. Because what they say is they'll start with everybody, those of you who can see my hands, and then as the company grows, they'll start getting more and more and more specific until they only work with their ideal client. Because initially, we are desperate because we just want business into our company.
And the waste is phenomenal.
Exactly.
Particularly when you're small, to try and talk to everybody is such a waste of resources.
Yeah. So, and then what they do is they want to then, at a point in the future, start working only with their ideal client. And I always tell them this, and first focus on your ideal client and start and then expand from there. Instead of trying to start from big and going smaller, you start from small and go bigger. Because if you know exactly who your client is that you want to talk to, you can spend all your resources, your energy and effort to reach them and make them happy. And then as you become more successful, you grow. Otherwise, you spend time, effort, resources on people that aren't your ideal clients.
And it's crazy. The more specific you are, the better your message is received.
Yeah. And the better you can plan your message as well. Because if you don't know exactly who you're talking to because you want to talk to everybody, how do you know what their problems are? Because each one of those people have a different problem. So now you want to address all of their problems all of the time instead of knowing exactly what problem to address.
Exactly that. And the big mistake people make is trying to provide a solution for everything, which immediately gets the person lost. Being clear about a singular message is often the best way to go.
And I've had that in my business as well, is that I'm so afraid that I might not get enough clients if I am that specific. So then you try and you bullshit yourself a little bit by saying, but maybe if I only do 2 solutions or 3 solutions or 4 solutions, I'll get more people because I'll address more of these areas.
But I think we need to add that you can definitely have more than one ideal client. You just talk to one client at a time.
That's also very important. That's almost an add-on. Don't try and talk to everybody all of the time.
Exactly.
Talk to a specific client at that point, and then another, and then another, and then another. Yeah. Okay, the next one is the algorithm is against me. I actually started watching a TV show. It's a new show. I think it's called Mrs. Davis, which is all about artificial intelligence and the algorithm. And she figures out, Mrs. Davis is the algorithm. So when you talk to people who aren't that tech savvy about the algorithm, it becomes this boogeyman.
This is when you can hear me roar.
I don't know what this algorithm doesn't want to allow me to speak to people. So tell them, why is the algorithm not against them?
The algorithm is actually your friend when you understand it, because it really helps you when you work with it. And I think the most important thing for people to understand is the algorithm is a piece of machinery. It's not some person sitting there sticking a dagger into your back. It is a piece of machinery that is taking signals from the way people are engaging with your content. And by the way, can I quickly add, it's the way you behave as well, because I hear far too many people. I've just been at a conference earlier this week where people hate Facebook because of all the rubbish and the cats and the babies. it's only because you are looking at that content that the algorithm is showing it to you.
This
There's the horrible reality.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw this was so funny. They like a month ago, they had this senatorial committee or something with TikTok, and it was everywhere for those 2 days. And this one senator came up and he says, "This TikTok is only about homosexuals and drag queens, and that's all I see when I go
Guess where
up."
he's been spending his time.
And everybody was just laughing because that just shows what you are watching, because it
Exactly.
just shows you what you are watching.
So the simple formula is the algorithm takes its signal from user engagement. So if people are liking what you put out there, if people are engaging, I'm going to sneeze.
No, it's fine.
Oh, I'm so
Bless you.
sorry. If people are engaging with your content, the other one that is really important is your content relevant in terms of how it compares with the other stuff you've shared, your page description, your profile. So if you suddenly come as a marketer and start talking about an earthquake in Japan, the algorithm goes, no, this is not so relevant to people who are following and learning about marketing. I hope that that analogy makes sense. And then the personalization, absolute mission of the algorithm is to serve to people what it thinks people are going to consume. Yeah. So if people are not engaging with your content, they are not going to see your new content. So you either have to call out people, go to people and engage with their content so that you attract them back to your content. Once they engage with you, they're going to see your further content. So it's about you get what you give on social media, and that's what the algorithm does for you.
Yeah. And you said something, and it actually, this is now specifically Facebook, is the fact that likes, if a person likes a post, it doesn't have that much value or as much value as the wow sign or the love sign.
Other reactions.
Yes.
Because think about it. The algorithm is saying how much effort is somebody putting into engaging with this post.
Yes.
If you just click on the like, it's the easiest engagement. But it's saying if you open the reactions and you choose one, you are spending more time. And by the way, another signal that the algorithm uses is linger time.
Okay.
The time you spend looking at the post, even if you do not engage.
So if it stops on your phone or something for a while, it's
the algorithm is saying you're looking.
So if you watch, you see something, you put the phone down, do something else, come back,
You'll
the
probably
algorithm is going to say, you want to see this, we're going to show you just that.
Yeah. But there is, of course, the most fabulous tool, particularly on Facebook, where on the top 3 little buttons, it says, do you want more like this? And you can say no.
Yes, not
So
interested.
my newsfeed is an absolute joy. I love it because it's empowering, it's informative, it's educational, it's entertaining. All the things that social media is meant to be.
Yeah.
But you have a choice on how you manage it.
Yeah, and you have to engage. And what you said was so true, is it's still about giving so that you can get back. So go and share people's posts. Go and engage with other people's posts. Because in the long run, it comes back. It's that paying it forward principle.
There's the most amazing tactic on any social media, and it really works on LinkedIn, but on any business marketing on social media, is go and be visible in your ideal customer space. So the groups they're in, etc. You don't spam there, you don't advertise there, you add value, you get into the conversation, you get them to start recognizing you, getting to know, like, and trust you, so they very naturally click on your profile. You don't need to tell them what to do. People know what to do.
Yes.
Click on your profile and go and look at your page, and if they find great stuff on your page, the chances are they're going to follow.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. I see it. You go into a group discussion, and then you have these people that spam. Have you ever clicked on that or engaged with that person? You feel almost offended that this person is, it's like me and you having a chat, and somebody else, we're sitting in a coffee shop. I'll use this analogy so that people understand what we mean with don't try and sell your products on somebody else's discussion. you sit and have a coffee, and we have this big discussion about marketing like this, and this guy walks up to us and just interrupts us and start talking about his business and how his business is going to build. We don't want to listen to him. He's interrupting our conversation.
And it's important to remember that in groups where we are all trying to build awareness and create awareness and build trust, somebody else is putting the energy into building that group. And it's actually their property.
Exactly. So don't hijack it, because, again, then you're just out for yourself. And in the long run, that's going to come back, bite you, and you won't build anything.
And that's where people start blocking you and closing you off, and you get no chance there.
Well, I sometimes think, does this really work? Because I'll be on a sports page, like a rugby page, and then you get these people that just keeps putting on things. I've spoken to this person and they helped me make so much money and blah, blah, blah.
Crypto's the worst, isn't it?
And then I go, does this actually ever work? Or are you just wasting your time for everyone? I think they're just wasting their time.
No, they totally are. And your big opportunity is to add a really valuable comment or opinion, or better still, ask a probing deep question.
Yes.
That carries on with the conversation, that you can then get deep into the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to position yourself as an expert, but you only do that by giving in the beginning.
You do it with humble kind of intervention into the conversation.
Yes, exactly. Okay, the next one we spoke about, my customers are not on Facebook. I mean, I hear this a lot, is that Facebook is old and nobody goes there anymore, and I can't sell my product or service on Facebook. I can sell other things. And I've said this. Facebook is great for selling widgets. It's not great for selling services. And you are convincing me that that's an absolute myth. So tell us a little bit about why Facebook is still a place to go and market your business.
Let's get back to the first myth. Everybody's my customer. So getting back to that, most people are on Facebook, but not everybody. So that's the first point. You go where your customer hangs out to get their attention. But the important thing to be aware of is there are nearly 3 billion people on Facebook.
Yes.
And do you know the single biggest segment, hold on to your hats, is 25 to 34-year-old males.
On Facebook.
Males, people.
Yeah.
The females are preferring Instagram.
Okay.
So if your customer is that age group, who are the people, by the way, who are buying and who are influencing buying decisions, and they are male, I think you should be on Facebook.
You should be talking to them.
So, it really depends who your customer is, who your ideal target is. But being on Facebook, how big is your small business? 3 billion audience. The chances are you're going to get heard by somebody. And how does word of mouth work? I saw this.
Yes.
Guess what? I know this. Guess what? It's a very sad place to ignore.
Okay. All right. So before we go for another music break, Suze, on the screen you will see Suze's website address, her email address, and her telephone number. But where you are in Gauteng, how can they get hold of you? Is it just send you an email, give you a call?
I'm very happy to have a WhatsApp on 073 274 1120. Okay. I'll just warn you, my first point of engagement is to send you a quiz link to learn more about your business and where you're at and what challenges you're facing. That way I don't waste either of our time, because I know straight away whether I can help you or not, whether you are actually helpable. Some people just reach out but don't actually want the help. Since I'm a coach, I need to know people are coachable. Yes. They want to be helped and they want to do the work, because I don't do it for you. Yeah. I help you do it.
And that ties in very nicely to our Nexus X system as well, where step one is identify. That's exactly what you're doing. Sending a link through and saying, listen, let's identify where your problems areas are and if I can help you solve those problem areas.
I think many small businesses who are stretched and doing a lot of cold calling and stuff could benefit by doing something to qualify a customer before you go and spend valuable time, fuel costs, travel costs, meeting costs, only to find out they weren't ready or interested.
Because again, it comes back to our first point. Everyone is not your customer. So yes, you are the person that are looking for the business, but you also have the person that buys new customers. You must be the buyer as well and say, listen, are you the right person that I can work with? Because I want to add value. And if you're not the kind of person that I can add value to, I don't want to waste my time, waste your time, and spoil my reputation, because inevitably you're going to turn around and say, I did nothing for you because I couldn't add value to start off with.
And it comes back to attracting and back to that first point of who's your ideal customer. I often say to people when they're stuck with identifying their ideal customer, describe yourself as your ideal customer first. Understand yourself, what you stand for, your value system. Because like attracts like.
Yeah, exactly.
You are going to like people you're going to attract people who like you.
Yes.
And be aware that not everyone's going to like you.
Yeah. And that's something that it's difficult when you start your own business to understand that you are going to get people that absolutely don't like you. That doesn't matter what you do, they will not engage with you. They won't like you. They don't want to do business with you. And
call it quits. Your time and energy is better spent serving those who really want it.
And there's enough people in the world that you will have people.
3 billion on Facebook.
Yeah. More than enough. Okay, so let's go for another break. Those of you on our social media, we're going to continue that video on systems for transformation, for a transformational business. And then the song we're going to play is Color My World from Petula Clark. And you said before the show that that's just going to show a little bit of your age. I don't think so. It's fine.
But please listen to the words.
Yeah. So share with us your thought around this song.
Talking again about the algorithm and social media marketing and stuff. Be positive. Add color. Think rainbows. Be a place on social media that people want to share with you.
Okay, so enjoy, and then those of you on social media, we're going to continue with that. You want to get to a point in your business where, and we very, very seldom have a business that has no competitors whatsoever. You usually go into a market where there are other competitors that do something similar to you. They might not do exactly the same thing, but they're in a similar industry. So you need to be able to differentiate yourself, because if you are not clear on what differentiates you from your competitors, how on earth will your clients or your potential customers be able to differentiate you? And if they have nothing to differentiate you from everybody else, what are they going to use as a differentiation? Price. And the moment you get into that situation where price is the only thing that you can compete at, you're then part of a lottery, because you'll win some, you'll lose some, because you don't know what other people are pricing. So you want to get away from just competing on price in your business. You want to create a unique selling proposition and be very clear on how that you want to get individuals that stay in the upmarket areas, but initially I'll accept everybody. And that is exactly the opposite, because what tends to happen if you don't know exactly who your market is, you then can't create a proper marketing message for them, which means you're going to get people that you're going to have to do business with, that you're going to work for less than what you're worth, make almost no profit. They're going to I don't want to say waste, but they're going to spend your time where you could have spent your time on somebody or a deal or a project that is more lucrative than what you're spending your time on now. So yes, I know in the beginning, and that's why it goes back to don't start a business when you need the money. Because if you start a business when you need the money, you are desperate, and then you'll accept any person that comes to you that wants to do business with you. You don't want to be there. You want to start a business for the gain that you can get. Then you want to make sure you understand who your market is. What does your target market look like, and be as specific as possible. And then you want to focus your whole lead generation system on that target market. And as you get better and bigger, you then start expanding your target market. So instead of starting wide and going tighter, you start tight, and then you start expanding your target market going out. Because you build capacity, you're teaching other people. Remember, transformational business. What can I teach other people to do? So as you are teaching other people, you can offer your services to a bigger and bigger target audience instead of trying to accommodate everybody initially. Okay. Once you have done that, once you have gotten your unique selling proposition, understanding what is the problem that you're going to solve for the client, once you have defined exactly what your target market is, you then want to... Welcome back, everyone, and that was Petula Clark and Color My World, and we are talking about some of the myths and debusting or debunking some of the myths around marketing. So if you have any questions for Suze in the studio or myself, you can, on the radio, you'll have a little shout out button. You can just press that button and you can communicate with us directly in studio, or you can send us a WhatsApp. My WhatsApp number is at that side, 0828016693. You send it directly to us. Please don't ask questions on the social media channels on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube, as I don't see all of those channels. So please send a WhatsApp or engaged on the Berg Studio website. So if you want a question, we will be glad to answer your questions for you. So let's continue with our discussion. We ended with my customers are not on Facebook, and you said no, there's 3.3 billion people on Facebook, so your customers are there. You just need to know how to find them. The next myth, and we hear this more and more often, is I don't need a website. Why do I need a website? I've got a Facebook page. Obviously, people can find me there. Why do people still need a website?
More than ever, because people are spending so much time online and researching because of all the scamming and all the options and all the competition. And people go to the internet to search for reassurance. So first of all, a website gives you credibility. But the most important point is, as much as I've said Facebook is a place to be, and some of the other social media if it's relevant to your ideal customer, but it is rented real estate. You can be closed at the drop of a hat. And I've got to say the algorithm is unstable with regards to that relevance of your content. If your content is ever so slightly dodgy and not relevant to your core theme category of your profile, you stand a chance of being blocked or closed or whatever. Now, if you have put all your marketing effort into that platform and it's closed down, what happens? You suddenly sit with nothing.
Yeah, that's it.
And at least with a website...
Or it gets hacked.
Or it gets
hacked.
hacked.
How often do we see
Exactly.
that happening?
A website at least is your owned marketing asset. And I think that's the important way to see it. It's a marketing asset. It's not a tool.
Yeah. It's almost like having a store that you own.
It's your online shop front.
Yeah. And you own that shop. It's not even like you're in a shopping center and you're still paying rent. That is, you own that shop.
And where we've said you're at the behest of the algorithm, there are things you can say, can't say on social media. There are things you can't promote, but on your website you can say what you jolly well like, because it's your own property.
Yeah, so I think people need to see it almost like this. As you were talking, I was thinking about this, is your website is your shop. You want people to come to your website, to come and view your business in more detail, have a discussion. Your Facebook, your Instagram, any other advertising that you do is all the billboards and the radio ads and everything that brings people to your shop. And that's what you want
Social
to do.
selling is huge, make no mistake. But people, that's generally when it's not a complicated sale, when it's a simple,
a widget.
Easy to do. But when people need more information, the chances are they're going to click through to a place that gives them more information. And that should be your website. Not sending them to a third party, a directory where they get heaps of other options, etc. You want them to come into your website. That is coming into your sales funnel. And if you've got your content right and you take people on a journey towards a sale, now you're doing proper marketing.
If you look at a website, and this is, I don't say it's off topic, but it's just something I thought about, is what if a person's sitting listening to this and they have a website, but they haven't changed anything on it for the last 6 months because they put it up, it's got their front page, it's got their About Us page, and nothing's really happening on the website. What would you suggest? What do they do with that website to make it more active, make it more friendly to the algorithm?
Okay, so content marketing is what we call it. And I have a little content marketing coaching group, if I can just throw that in here, where I have a coaching group in a Facebook group where once a week I do a week's worth of content marketing coaching. And I kind of communicate this message very strongly that social media is a top of funnel activity to create awareness and then trust to start taking people into your funnel. But until people have shared their contact details with you, they are just an audience. You may as well be walking in the middle of a rugby pavilion and being able to talk to nobody. So your website is also the place where you get subscriptions. You let people sign up for newsletters. That is such an underutilized tool, but there are ways to do it. We're going to talk about email marketing. Or can I quickly cover that now?
You can go, yeah.
People think email marketing is dead.
Work, yeah.
But it's not if you are adding value and building trust and serving your audience. Think for yourself, how many newsletters come into your inbox that you actually read? Then analyze why you are reading them. Because they are bringing value to you in one way or another. So if you entice people to sign up with a great tool, a gift that's really meaningful, with the first step of the relationship with you, of the journey, that they get value straight away, and then you continue to add value and serve. You are going to keep your subscribers, and that is where you sell. I have yet to sell to somebody who's not on my email list.
Yeah. Somebody that just saw you on Facebook and said immediately. It doesn't happen. And I think that is where, just going back to my customers are not on Facebook, where a lot of the despondency around social media marketing comes from, is we expect to place an ad on Facebook or to put a post on Facebook and have somebody say to us, I want to do business with you, and now you do business with them. And what you're saying is it's not how it works. That person goes into a funnel, you start adding value, and then eventually the person comes out and says, listen, I want to do business with you.
And here's a little hack, a little tip, which is like added serving you all right now. It's the structure of a social media post. I see too many people put everything on an image. The image is to attract your attention so that you stop scrolling and read the caption in the post. Okay. And if that caption doesn't have a call to action to tell the people what you want them to do next, you may as well be blowing fresh air in the wind. Because you want people to take a step with you. It might be as simple as saying, like it, love it, make a comment. That is still a call to action. Yes. But ultimately, what you want to do with your social media is give people a reason to take the next step, and the ultimate goal is to get them as a subscriber.
Yeah. So you actually need to tell them what you want them to do.
And too many people post and don't tell anybody anything, and they wonder why nothing's happening.
Yeah, exactly that. We've got a question here from Fricky. He says, do you have some types for a new business owner, or some tips for a new business owner regarding marketing myself on social media? Do you have some tips for new business owners?
I love that. I said at the beginning with Katy Perry, you can hear me roar. The first thing is to own your brand. Be an individual and step into who you are as an individual. Your look, the way you behave, the consistency of your behavior, the consistency of your message, your like, look, and feel. You will very seldom see me on social media without red, because red matchstick is memorable. Yes. That's part of my brand. And that's why I wear red when I'm out in public or speaking or whatever. That's part of me being visible on social media. People see red, they think red matchstick. So first of all, own your brand. Step into your value system, and then know your why. I think the most important thing, Simon Sinek, if you haven't read Begin With Why, go and read that book. Yeah. You'll read it in a day. But if you are not clear on why you are doing what you are doing it, who you are doing it for, and what you want them to experience, you're never going to market yourself as a brand effectively.
One of the things on that video that we are showing while we're listening to music is you need to be clear on your unique selling proposition as well. You need to sit down and say to yourself, what makes my company different from other companies in the same market? Because if you don't differentiate yourself, then you'll just sell on price. And then it's a random thing. Then you don't know what other people are quoting. So you need to differentiate yourself and then get that message across so that people understand what makes you different from other people.
I've just today posted something on my Facebook page, Suze Bouwer Redmatchstick, about price and the relativity of price.
Yes.
Go and take a look, because it's amazing how you'll think twice about spending 1,000 rand on a meal, but 1,000 rand on groceries is a no-brainer.
Yes.
So why? What is that saying to you?
I saw that. You look at people spending $900 on, I think that was the one.
On starting a business.
Yeah, but you can spend $900 on a new iPhone without thinking.
Yes. So that was a very important point, is that price is relative, and setting your brand up to add value then diminishes the price variable in how people make a decision
Because
to
they'll come
choose
to you
you.
because of your unique value proposition that you give
And
them instead
I
of just
wanted to
price.
make another point that I nearly forgot. Thank you for that, Lourens. The unique selling proposition, I like to say to people when we do the initial setting up of a business and identifying your unique selling proposition, when you do your competitor analysis, you're not doing your competitor analysis to compare. You're doing your competitor analysis to identify how you can stand out, how you can differentiate and be noticed,
Yes.
to stand up and roar so everyone hears you first.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go for another music break. Those of you watching on social media, we'll continue with that video. The song that we are going to play next is Daydream from Lily Miola. So tell us a little bit about why that song was chosen.
Well, first of all, I came across this song on Idols, and Simon Cowell was blown away by Lily Miola. So if you don't know her, go and take a look. But it is such a beautiful song, and really this is appealing to the youngsters watching us here. At 18, you have a dream.
Yeah.
And life gets in the way and starts shattering your dream. And I'm getting a lump in my throat saying this to you with my deepest sincerity. Hold on to that daydream and chase that dream.
What I always, when we do talks, I talk about I draw a circle and I say you've got your dream circle and you've got your reality circle. And what we all want to do is we want to increase our circle, our dream circle, to become our reality. But the reality of the situation is that those two circles will become one at some point in your life. And it's going to become one or two things. So you've got your reality circle in the middle, I actually mean, and your dream outside of that. So you want to increase your reality to become your dream. But it will become the same thing eventually. The choice is how. So it will either become the same thing by you expanding your reality to achieve your dreams, or the dreams are going to shrink to become your reality. And too many people through their life, their dreams shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink until that becomes their reality.
And we allow other people to shrink our dreams.
Exactly that.
So watch who you follow. Go to the right people who inspire you and build you up rather than break you down.
Yes. Okay, so let's listen to Lily Miola and Daydream. And those of you on our social media, we're going to continue with that video on the transformational business systems. To create a proper marketing message. So also, once you know what your target market is, you'll get a better idea of where you can speak to your target market. Because what do we get? We get marketing companies these days, and all they want to do is social media marketing, social media marketing, social media marketing. And for some products and services, social media works. But for a lot of products or services, it doesn't work. If you are in the market to sell retirement homes and retirement villages, will Instagram be your ideal marketing platform? Well, probably not. So you need to first understand who your target market is, and then find a way to speak to your target market. Where are these people? Where do they hang out? What do they watch? What do they listen to? Where do they engage with certain products and services? And start focusing your marketing efforts to those places, instead of just having the shotgun approach of, well, social media is the answer for every marketing problem out there. I promise you, and I can attest, it is not the answer to all marketing problems. Okay, so once you know how you're going to talk to your people, who your target market is, you can then start creating your marketing messages to these people, whether that is through flyers, whether it is through social media, whether it's through traditional media. It doesn't matter. You need to create a proper marketing message for your potential customer. This marketing message of yours, you want 4 elements in that marketing message. The first element of your marketing message is to state the problem. So you want to make sure that the customer understands and can relate to that problem. You want the guy to go, I feel like that as well. Or I've experienced that as well. Or I had that pain in my life as well. So you state the problem. Once you have stated the problem, you then explain how your product or service addresses that problem and will solve that problem for your potential customer. And here you want to bring in your unique selling proposition as well. How does your company, your product, your service solve that problem for your potential client? But then the third one comes in, and this is one that a lot of people miss out on. They state what the solution is, and then they have a call to action in missing out on this third part of your marketing message. And this third part is extremely, extremely important, because the third part is about emotion. It's about creating or engaging the client's emotion. Number 2, how does your product or service address the problem is not emotion, it's logical. It is the logic of this is what we do. The third one is the emotion of what will it mean to you once we have solved this problem for you. So you see the difference. So you first engage the logic, and then you help them make a decision emotionally. Because we as human beings, we make our decisions emotionally. And welcome back, everyone. That was Lily Mihola. And what was the song's name, Suze?
Daydream. So hold on to your dream, folks. Don't let anyone burst that bubble.
Exactly. Okay, we've got another 10 minutes or so. The time has gone way too fast.
I agree.
So let's quickly go to our next one, which is, you said you want to talk about the professional video. So let's talk about that one first. That only professional videos work when you do social media.
So all of you have seen how many people are selling professional video editing and so on. And there is definitely a place for it. So I'm not crashing those people. But social media is called that because it's a social space. People are engaging with people. And they can very quickly see through edited videos.
Yes.
So back to Fricky's question about building your personal brand is be real on social media. Let people get to know, like, and trust you. And they can only do that if you are reaching through being a real individual, not a perfect individual, because we know those don't exist. So there's a place for both. But folks, pick up that phone. And by the way, Reels is the most engaging content. So for those of you who can see me upright, put it on video, talk for 30 seconds, put a caption to it and share it. And I promise you, you will attract people who need you.
Yes. Yeah, and that's my problem as well. I want everything to be perfect. And one thing that I've learned from doing these streams on radio as well, things happen that's out of your control, and you just go with it.
And people want to know that things happen to you too.
Yeah, and it does. The system freezes. There's a lot of things that happen, but yeah, just get it done. It's better if you now have this idea in your mind that it has to be perfect. It's better to do something that is not perfect than nothing that is perfect.
Exactly. That's so important. Get stuff out there. You can edit it all beautifully later, but just get it out because there's somebody today that wants to hear you.
Exactly. Okay, and then another point you made is features tell. So tell us what that means. What does features tell?
So this relates back to content marketing on your website, on your social media, etc. The complete phrase is features tell and benefits sell.
Okay.
So too many of us are obsessed with the details, the touchy stuff, this taste, smell, see parts of what we sell.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, have you ever sold an online course to somebody who went, 8 modules? I was looking for 8 modules. No, they don't buy that, but they buy the transformation that your service or product delivers.
Yes. Yeah.
That is the benefits. Talk to the benefits first. Support that with the detail, which is your features.
So when I started in sales many years ago, one of the first things I was taught is sell the sizzle, not the steak.
I love it.
So it is about you walk into the kitchen and you smell that steak, and that's what makes you hungry. Not the steak lying there on the counter all cold and red, and it's that smell. So that's the benefits that you want to sell to
exactly.
people.
And the way to get to work on this, just for a tip for you, if you've been featuring benefits, make a list of 2 columns, list all your features, and then next to it, identify the benefit for each of those features. And you're going to want to do that for each of your ideal customers, because the benefit for each of them is different.
Exactly. So when I speak to the people in my office and we talk about, okay, you're going to send a marketing email or you're going to send a message, I always say there must be 4 elements to your marketing message. And you can tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a marketing expert, but these are the things that I sort of figured out for myself. The first one is you make sure that people understand the problem. What is the problem that people are facing? The second one is the solution. How do you solve that problem for them? The third part of the message is, what is it going to mean to you once we've solved the problem? Because just stating we're going to solve the problem doesn't make it personal, doesn't make it emotional. So you have to say, because we've solved the problem, this is the effect or this is the results that you're going to get. And the fourth one is your call to action. So all the marketing messages
Can
has
I
to
add
have
one?
those 3. Yes, please.
There's a great one to add, is what is the cost of carrying on with the same way?
Oh, yeah. The cost of not making a decision.
Yes.
Of not making a change.
That is often the deal breaker.
Yes, I hear you. Yeah, so that's brilliant. Okay, so the next one, printed business cards are old-fashioned, and there's me as well. I also feel that way. It's like, why do I still have to have a printed business card?
Well, I think my simplest example, I was at an event for 200 people on Tuesday, and I finished my business cards. Everybody came running past me and said, we need to get in touch. Now, if I didn't have a printed business card, what was I going to do?
Yeah.
Was I going to make a note of everybody? First of all, my business card's very memorable. It's bright red. They're not going to forget it.
Yes.
But even if they didn't reach out immediately, they've taken something home of mine. When it's on a digital device, it serves a purpose, sure. But a printed business card, especially as we've come out of COVID and we are seeking face-to-face contact again, and we are making contact with people, something tactile, the process of giving from you to somebody else. Think of that energy. You are giving your card.
Yes.
It's a very, very powerful thing if you think about the process of sharing a business card.
That's one thing I've given it some thought as well. And I have this idea, everything's going to go electronic. So if I put my details into the person's phone, it won't get lost, because most of the business cards end up in a bin somewhere or in a drawer somewhere. But the thing is, we must also, what I realized is that it gets lost on the person's phone as well. There's a bigger chance that he's going to open his drawer and see your business card again than he's going to go into his contacts and see your business or see you on that contact. It can get
And when
lost
you
just
reach
as quickly.
out, they're more likely to remember you if they've physically taken that business card.
Because it's again those six senses. The more of those senses you get involved, the better. The more they're going to remember.
But I want to reiterate, I love that energy exchange. Think of you as giving something.
Yeah. Okay, and then our last one for today, and we're definitely going to have another show and we're going to talk some more. But marketing is getting more difficult because of the new technologies.
Oh my God, and the first thing you're all thinking about is AI.
Yeah.
And I've got to tell you, I am loving AI and using it every single day, numerous times a day. But it does not delete backspace on the human element. If you are not analyzing what is churned out by AI or using tech, I've just had somebody book an appointment on Calendly, and then from there on, I had a barrage of autoresponders, which were totally irrelevant.
Yes.
Now, that did not build my respect for his brand. And it's an overuse of automation.
Yeah.
Remember, people deal with people.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's always going to be there.
Tech is designed to save you time, but it should never replace you.
So that's a question that I want to ask you, and your opinion on it is, as AI develops and as all these tools develop, I see quite a lot of guys that say, well, you can now write the script with AI. You can create an avatar that looks almost like a real person. You can even create an avatar of yourself with your own voice, and it will generate it. And you can create these videos, like 100 videos in a day, and you just put it on. Does that add value? Or do you think it actually detracts from you taking your phone and just doing a video that's not professionally edited?
Lourens, interesting question, and it brings us back. It's kind of a fabulous summary question in terms of everything we've discussed. So AI for me is like an edited video. It's not you. And do you honestly think your audience cannot see it's AI?
Yeah.
So there's a place for it, yes. An avatar, if you are selling yourself as a service, I think an avatar does not have a place because people are buying you.
Yes.
Where an avatar could work is if you are creating an icon with a personality that promotes a brand, like a Superman, that your product solves a Superman problem and you have a Superman avatar, then you're bringing a comic character element into your marketing.
Like a what do you call it? A mascot for your business.
Exactly. Then probably it does have a place. But tech for the sake of tech and everybody selling you tech, step back and think first before you investigate or waste time investigating. Do I really need this? You know, things like email, tech, Zapier to link this with that and make this talk to that and get autoresponders. How many leads do you get a month? 3 leads? Yeah. Handle them manually. Add them to your list. Send people a personal email. It's likely to get you better results than automation.
So the messages don't take you out of your own marketing.
Exactly.
Keep you in there, keep your personality, your brand, your values. Because again, also, an avatar is not going to give people an insight into your values.
The question that comes to mind is, what are you hiding behind if you've got an avatar?
Yeah. So on that thought, we have to say goodbye. This is the end of our show. Suze, thanks so much for coming. I really enjoyed our chat, and I'm definitely going to have you back, and we'll talk a little bit more about marketing. I've seen that if there's one place that I feel every business can improve on is their marketing, because that's the starting point of everything.
It's a changing space and changes continuously.
Yeah. So we need to have more conversations on that. So for those of you watching on our social media, I'm going to say goodbye, and then we're going to play out on Berg Studio for a last song, and we're going to play some Dire Straits, Walk of Life. Why Dire Straits and Walk of Life?
I thought we had to end on a sort of a more modern beat and also on an upbeat. The Walk of Life, it's real, but choose who you walk with. You remember the 5 people you spend your time with are the 5 people you're going to emulate, who are going to bring energy into your life.
Yes.
So
Perfect.
walk that life with the right people.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Suze, and cheers, everyone. And those of you on social media, thanks for joining us, and we will see you again next week. We're going to talk about some short-term insurance with Ananda van der Berg from RRH Risk Management, so don't miss that show. Cheers, everyone.
Financially raw, real, authentic wisdom with Lourens from Retire Rich and Happy.